Hi all, welcome to our Player of the Month Rashford SBC guide. 87 rated card, slightly better than the headliners card, but regardless, still a very appealing card regardless. So if you can smash likes would be awesome. Sub to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter at GIsALegend. All the links are down below for playlists in the channel and social media links as always. And remember to hit that notification bell so that you know when uploads are up on the channel, would be massively appreciated. And let me know in the comments down below if you've done the SBC. And also if you got anything good from your packs. So 500k to do the SBC, 235k worth of packs. Now I would say the pack return is fairly decent. Now England route, I'm showing an example using 3 English informs. The reason why I've done this is just to show what is out there, but in terms of personal observations, I would not go with Chilwell, Tarkowski or Andros Townsend. I would be going for players like Jota, Bolly, Bamba, even potentially informed Pedro, depending who are practically the cheapest informs out with England. That's kind of what you're looking for, because Chilwell's like 40k, Tarkowski's about the same, Townsend's like 30k, so you're practically overpaying before you kick off, because the route itself is around 80-85k. So that just gives you basically an idea to say, well, where else do I go? So that's kind of why I thought I would show an example using these particular players. If you were to do that, then it kind of covers your back. So I thought I'd at least show you one example using 7 England players, but it's fundamentally quite easy. You wouldn't obviously go Rui Patricio in net, you would go Pickford, and then your striker would be Jota, and then you'd kind of go like Bolly, and you'd end up changing this whole team around practically for a 50k pack. In my personal opinion, if you can do it for sub 80k, in terms of like what the SBC would be worth, and obviously you'd maybe use what you have already, then as an SBC it could prove that you might pay out quite well. Onto the Premier League, which is fairly expensive for the pack return. A 30k pack is not appealing in the slightest for 125-130k spend of Lloris, Otamendi, Laporte, Christensen, Kasper Schmeichel, Jorginho, Gundogan, Naby Keita, Ozil, Mkhitaryan and Lacazette. Why not give us a 45-50k pack, or even like a another 55k pack? Make it feel appealing to us to do. Like, a rare electrums can be hit and miss. I've seen a lot of people pack godly cards, some of them be disastrous, but this is the one type of SBC where, while the requirements very sound, I'm quite happy with them. It's just the pack. That's all that's wrong with it. That's pretty much all I can understand. It wouldn't exactly be a fundamentally cheap SBC to build, I get that, but it's just it's all it is. It's just, if it was like, even of it saying that, obviously a 45k pack Prime Gold players, they can stink badly, but all you need is one good pack from the rare electrum and one good player from the rare electrums. As long as it's a board like an inform or even a walkout, you've kind of cracked it. But at the same time, if you were to break route by route for this SBC, I would personally go the Red Devils route for the 100k pack. I would then focus on the England route. I would then move to Player of the Month, and then I would move to the Premier League. But saying that, it would also depend on what players you had for each respective route. But I feel the 100k pack would kind of be the strongest way of giving you as good a chance of completing this SBC, but also for completing, hopefully packing something good. I know some people might do an SBC like for Red Devils, for example. That's like 140-150k route, depending on what you obviously have, but at the same time it's not a cheap route to be expected, and I would imagine it's even if it's a 100k pack, but the route is definitely got manoeuvrability about it. Like, I know I'm going Casillas, Valencia, Smalling, Mata, Marcano, Inform 1 Fran, second form, Cazorla, Isaiah Mendy, Inform Cess, Hydreki and Rodrigo. Yes, there is theoretically cheaper ways about this. This route will still work without loyalty or position changes, but at the same time it's one of these type of routes that has the potential to be had the potential to be more expensive. Like, a lot of people will use Mata solely because it's so easy to link them up with like La Liga, CES players. It's easy to link up the hybrids. The problem becomes who you put in at right back. That is pretty much where your problems arise. Like, you could easily go just one nation of Spaniards. The reason why we put Hydreki in is because he's like the cheapest 84. Like, you could easily go on our Spanish player at striker, but at 84 rated, you've then got to kind of think out. It's kind of like Asensio. And that's pretty much it. That is pretty much where you get. It's like you say yourself, 84s, Spaniards, Asensio, or unless you suddenly use up foot swap Lucas Perez. That's the only other way you go around it. But not everyone's going to have used their free tokens to dedicate towards the foot swap version of Lucas Perez. Like, I might use him up, but at the same time I'm not exactly going to jump the gun to go for it unless but Rashford's SBC card doesn't suit my team up, I'm afraid, even though it is a very well thought out like, the pack rewards are worked out well, the spends generally fairly sound, requirements are fairly sound. It's just the overall spend is where it kind of just gets stung a little. Like, for player of the month, that's 140k to do. When I saw it initially, I was like, I knew it would be expensive solely because the brick slot is where the expensiveness kicks in, because you theoretically will have to put in a lot of high rated players. Now, Thiago, Rodriguez, Muller and Hummels aren't exactly going to be cheap. That's pretty much looking, say, in excess of 100k. Like, Bowman's not going to be expensive, Taz not going to be too expensive, Hydreki's not going to be too expensive, Tolisso and Bender aren't going to be too expensive either. Looking at it, it's easy enough to get the team up to like what do you call it, like your 90k regardless, even if you weren't using all these players. Like, you could easily position change Muller to Cam, Tolisso to CDM, Thiago to Cam. It's easy enough changes if you really wanted to, but looking at it, I would imagine because of Hydreki being in net and linking up with Ta, it should theoretically still work, but there's not much real other flexibility that you could do with the SBC, because you can't really put a goalkeeper in at left back, and because obviously you're kind of relying on using Bowman to make it work and keep your costs down, you can either go with farming as well, but there's not really much else. It's not ideal that Kagawa no longer plays for Dortmund, and you can't really use Goretzka to make it work. If you're trying to keep the spends down, like, you could put Goretzka in over Tolisso, I will admit that, but if you're trying to keep your spends down, then you're kind of going Tolisso. But for 500k, is it worth doing? Personally, I would hold off for Bundesliga Player of the Month, and then anything else that may drop over the next week or two. If you really want to do it, I would wait till nearer the end of it being out, basically, kind of see if it will drop even more. But as an SBC goes, it is definitely one to keep an eye on, and I think it's fairly well balanced. All in all, about 7.5 out of 10 to do, but hopefully you find this useful, folks. Let me know in the comments below, as I said, if you've done them at all, what you got in your packs. Smash like as always, sub to the channel for now, follow me on Twitter at GTheLegend, and I'll catch you all later.